Okay, so hi, welcome to my channel, and you're gonna watch me fail upwards on how this looks, how this works. I'm just gonna record and post this time and do the thing. So today I'm gonna be doing my hair because I have the babies asleep, and Stephanie, by the way, and I feel like in this day and age, there's a lot of people feeling like if they've been diagnosed with ADHD because they have issues focusing, concentrating, just like, getting through a task without distracting stuff. That's literally getting distracted. Something they seem to not be to keep my thoughts coherent. I can't even keep it straight if I wrote it down. So that is a COS thing. I don't see some neurodivergence. I don't know. So it does not say, but I do have a lot of opinions on things. I do like to talk about things, and I don't really have a lot of people in my circle that I can talk about these things with. And so I'm just gonna put on the internet, and hopefully I'll find my tribe one day. So some things I've been looking at and is there's a couple of shows that I watch. There's a couple that I want to talk about. There's a couple of YouTubers that I am a fan of that I want to talk about. There's some really interesting topics that I kind of want to talk about. And there was if you're an avid YouTube watcher like myself, you definitely know what I mean. Like when you have you watch so many different people and so many takes on things that you don't even know. You have no shortage of an opinion of stuff. You have no shortage of one. But sometimes you don't even know what to comment on, or sometimes you just don't have time to comment because you're I am how do I put this? I'm the type of person that when I watch YouTube, there is this feature on YouTube that I discovered recently. Well, I say recently, but I mean it's not that recent, but I use it more. Is because I'm always doing chores and stuff like that. I'm a housewife for now. I know I may do a life update later on when I get a couple of things I want to do. But yeah, there's this thing I do because I'm mostly busy, where I add to the queue. So I queue up all the videos that I want to watch and I'm interested in that land on my recommended page, and I just bang them out, right? I don't sit and watch stuff. Sometimes I do, if I'm eating or doing what I'm doing here, I'll I'll probably get through a couple of those. But the majority of videos that I queue up, and I queue up from different YouTubers, different parts of YouTube. And YouTube have a tendency, we all know how it works. It'll recommend you whatever based on the things that you watch the most, or the things that you watch, the things that from people that you watched recently, right? So sometimes I'll get a nice blend, and then sometimes I'll have to go and search for what I want, because if I've watched, let's say, stuff from Kevin on Stage, right, his podcast, or I watch something from Invasion, or I watch something from Shits and Gigs, it's gonna recommend me a combination of those things, or it's just gonna pull people and videos from that particular in the content spaces that those people are from. Right? So I'll get a funny podcasts, or I'll get more content creators that are Invasion, social commentary, but kind of humorous and lighthearted, right? Or Asian. So yeah, I have very eclectic taste when it comes to consumption, consumption, and yeah, I'm a big YouTube girly. I've been a YouTube watcher for ever since YouTube came up. I was the girl watching the Metal Gear Solid um the Metal Gear Solid parody videos things, and or like the game parody videos. I was used to watch. I fell into the Shane Dawson hit I did with Jenna Marbles and those creators, and Niga Higa and those guys. Raymond Johnson was my favorite. Yeah. So I know how long Mr. Beast has been at it. Like I've been out here for a long time. To give you, yeah, I've been watching it for a long time, and I've always wanted to do it, and just literally never. And so like now I want to do it. I'm just gonna do it. Like I'm tired of watching like all the how to get started on YouTube videos, and the like find your niche and what equipment you need. I'm done. For right now, I have so much going on in my life and have had so much going on in my life for so long. I don't care no more. Like I'm really tired. Like I'm probably at that age where I'm too. Honestly, it's like it's either I'm too old to bother or I shouldn't care so much about doing it. And so I'm kind of in the I'm not going to care that much about doing it and just do it. So let's get into some of the topics that I want to talk about. Probably going to make this one a little shorter so that I actually have more to talk about later. I don't know if I'll be able to do that, to be honest, because so much goes in my head so often that then the time when you're a mom, like you don't have a lot of time to do stuff, so it's gonna be real chaotic over here. It's gonna be chaotic, kind of ghetto, and I don't know how any of this is gonna work, right? But I also wanted to join, like, I don't know, join a community space that you know how YouTube used to be. Like, there's this YouTuber D'Angelo Wallace who he has his intro now, one of his channels, or that boy gotcha. But I don't know if he goes by. I don't know if it's he, if it was his pronoun. He's giving. That's the vibe he's giving, right? And I like him. He's cool. He makes fun videos. Sometimes long form stuff is really entertaining. Um, and yeah, I like D'Angelo, but I'm not sure if he's a he or if he's like a data kind of thing. And I don't want to be disrespectful to anyone. And even though I am Christian, so some of my takes are going to be from that worldview, that perspective. I'm not going to be like you know over over saturating any this channel with religious content or anything. But that's my worldview, and so but I don't want to be disrespectful because I don't think whatever your worldview or religious perspective is should. I have no idea what's going on with that. That's like this stuff. Y'all, telling y'all this is gonna be ghetto. It's a ghetto production, but it is what it is. But yeah, he says his introduction is basically he says, or he's just a guy making videos in his room like YouTube used to be, right? That's part of his introduction, right? And yeah, this is something before I rediscovered some of like his newer channel, short form content channel, and he started saying that. That's literally how I've been feeling. I've been feeling like I want to go back to how I would like my channel to be, like YouTube used to be, where people would just basically use YouTube as their YouTube. Lord Jesus, YouTube as their soapbox, and we're talking about whatever they want to talk about. And it was fun. Like we got so many good creators who just, we got Jackie Lina who would talk about makeup, and but she was so relatable because she would just talk about life updates and stuff like that. As showing us what she learned at her job, doing her makeup and stuff like that, and that was a time, y'all, and I wanted to do it then, but I'm glad I kind of didn't get to do it then. So then, I was so just not very demure, not very mindful at all. Life didn't hit me. I was very young and like just reckless in a lot of ways, especially with my mouth and my opinion stuff like that. So I'm glad that life has definitely taught me some stuff, but I'm still my carefree self, just I want to say me too. A little bit more self-awareness and like just like and product right, child. My hair about to be whatever. I'm just twisting it so that I can get a nice cute little twist out later on in the week. That's all I do. I just twist it. This is my time to cut off my hair and just started a journey again and again since I was a teenager, just cutting off my hair, relaxing it, and then going natural, and then cutting it and break. Yeah, it's just it's hair. It is. Yeah. So yeah, and I just really wanted to do YouTube in that way. And for myself, this is how I want to do it. I've always wanted to do it that way, just be in a space where I can sit and just talk about whatever I want to talk about. So now it's been 11 minutes of me rambling, and y'all seeing just me just in this light, this being a natural, good, mess, to be honest, right? I want to talk about the Cam Newton thing because it's popular right now, and it's just what I want to talk about. I think that's what that's just the main topic to touch on, and I'm gonna just make another video for a topic. Right? So the Cam Newton thing, right? The Cam Newton thing. Cam Newton is an interesting character, right? He's an American footballer, I think. No, I'm from the Caribbean, so footballer for me, because you'll hear an accent coming in and out from time to time. The reason that is, I'll just quickly explain. As you can see, guys, you tend to over-explain stuff, but it's whatever, it's my channel. So, yeah, so the reason you'll hear an accent coming in and out is because, not because I'm trying to fake anything, oh, it's hot, but it's because I have a speech impediment. And one of the ways when I was young, I got over my speech impediment was not speaking in my natural dialect, which is, it's not a foreign language or anything. It's just that I'm from the Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago. I live in Trinidad. And my speech impediment does not necessarily go well with the dialect, which is speak very flat and kind of sing-songy. I guess that's what people say. That's what foreigners say. And so it's hard. It's hard for me to describe, but basically it's like I have trouble pronouncing certain words if I don't put some effort into saying it a certain way. So, so the Cam Newton thing, right? So basically, he's an American footballer, ex, right? I don't think he's in it anymore, not in the league anymore, right? Not in the NFL anymore. And he had recently, because if I'm talking about this, then it's because a lot of people are talking about it, a lot of what happened recently, right? So you have him and McKenna, right? They had this interview, this lady called Cheyenne Bryant, right? She's a psychologist, she's a psychologist. She's an accomplished black woman. She's beautiful. She's very together. And she's accomplished some things in life, right? And she says that she's a high functioning woman, right? Because she's worked on herself and stuff like that, all that good stuff. And she was telling Cam Newton, right, and also Nick Cannon, that they are actively choosing to create broken homes because they have multiple children with different women, right? Different mothers women that they've chosen to have these babies with, right? So they're just out here choosing most likely very attractive women that don't mind, right, being, laid with and impregnated by them. And so, she was just basically calling them out on what they're doing, that what they're doing is harmful to our community, the black community that is, And I agree with her. And I made a short, but I made a short. It's on my channel. Basically saying that she threw them up, like, because she has a way of talking to them, like, she'll give them a nice little compliment before she slices, dices, chops them up, and prepares them like she's cooking a meal, you know, at a Chinese restaurant, right, where there's a lot of chopping going on, okay? And, yeah, or at a barbecue place where there's also, like when you go to the barbecue chicken spot, or the jerk chicken spot, they're gonna like after the chicken is basically cooked in a large chunk, they basically they put it on the chopping board and they chop it up. Sometimes in front of you before they put it in your box. Yeah, that's basically how she has. She gives them a nice, she preps them real nice, and then as they are coming down from their compliment, feeling real good about themselves, she chops them up, or she roots them, she gets them together, she gathers them, right? She gathers the boys, and it is quite a sight to see the way how they just they're not able to keep their composure. And men always talk about stoicism and trying to keep your cool and not getting tight with no woman and all that stuff. These men are definitely bothered by what she's saying to them, because at the end of the day, they are wrong for what they're doing. This whole the way they're approaching trying to do family is wrong. It is harmful to our community. This is basically this is what colonialists, I'm not gonna say it like that, something like that. This is what colonialists and colonialism did to our communities around the world, right? They split homes. They had men and people as breeders, basically, for their farms, for their large fields and estates and plantations and stuff like that. And they would basically just pair us up according to genetics, like what they, teeth and the way they used to like basically treat us like like cattle, like livestock, right? And have us, it's like, okay, this one has good teeth, this one is strong, this one has whatever it is they're looking for, right? Maybe a good jawline, whatever the strength, whatever, however they determine a human body to be perceived as strong, able to bear strong seed, is how they would choose, how they would allow black people in their control at the time to basically reproduce and just basically make more workers, right? Who knows how they used to choose the black women that they themselves would violate and get lighter skinned children in order to work inside of their homes, to basically enslave their own offspring, right? Because house slaves didn't have it any better. But I'm coming away from the slavery thing because that was a sort of. But basically, to me, this is what I'm seeing. They're doing the same thing. Nick Cannon and Cam Newton and the other men that agree with this kind of thing, this kind of red pillish kind of idea, where if you're going to have children, you need to be a so-called high value man, which is just a high earning man. It's none of this value stuff means anything, because their value they're not using words correctly. I'll say that they're not using words correctly, right? It's not about high value. It's about high earning. These men have a lot of money, and so do they're able to do a lot with what they've earned, and they were able to get away with a lot more because of their earnings, or their earnings, the money that they already have, and the money that they can continue and will continue to make, right? Because other men will of course support them continuously, because a lot of men don't get it, right? A lot of men don't get it. And so yeah, to me they're perpetuating the same thing that colonialists and slave owners and stuff like that's what they did back, in the days, when women had so little rights. These men are doing the same thing. These modern day men who claim to love their people, claim to want to do better for the black are doing the same thing that our slave owners did, that those that enslaved our ancestors. Because admittedly, right, excuse me, I'm funny because it's hot, but if I bring the fan any closer, because I'm sure it's already being picked up, it's going to make even more noise. But yeah, so yeah, they're doing the same thing because the women that they're getting with don't have the kind of access they have, right? With Sam Newton, we don't know any of his baby mamas like that, right? Like they're not like famous or anything like that. They're like they may be maybe now Instagram famous if they have an Instagram. I haven't really looked into them because it doesn't matter, and these women don't need anybody just crying into the business like that because it is sad and embarrassing, like Jessie Wu said, what Cam is doing to these women. Right? She was talking about one in particular, the one that she knows, the most recent one. But I think for all of them, this is an embarrassment. This is embarrassing. Black men stay embarrassing us, and I love black men. I have 3 beautiful babies because of child. Y'all be embarrassing us, even in my own community, because we're talking about the American community because y'all are the most prominent because y'all are in our faces the most. You'll put yourselves out there the most, which is not a bad thing at all. But because it lets us know, it lets us see, right, that we have a lot to fix in our communities. And black men need to stop feeding into these narratives and these behaviors that are negative and harming because you can't keep just going into homes, making babies, and then leaving them there, and then creating a space for this woman to be vulnerable and need help with these children, and then leaving, she's vulnerable now to another man who's going to prey on her insecurities, on her vulnerabilities, because she has kids that she needs help with financially and materially, physically. She needs, and emotionally, she's spiritual, she's vulnerable because she is in a position where, she's left herself open. She's not married to the man that gave her the first kid or kids. We need help. Raising children is hard, even with 2 parents in the house. It is hard. It is expensive. It is challenging. More than it's expensive, it's emotionally taxing. It's emotionally and spiritually taxing and draining to be a parent. It's not easy. We love our children. Most parents will tell you. Most normal parents. This is not normal. Because a lot of people aren't normal. But we love our children, and you want the best for them. You don't want them to suffer in any way. And so, one of the sacrifices parents make is to stay together for the sake of their children. One of the biggest sacrifices is to choose to be with the person who's having this baby with. That's what Charlemagne did, and I am no advocate of Charlemagne. Charlemagne is a problem by himself. He's a problematic dude all by himself. But I would commend the decision he decided to make when he said, I remember that time when he said, he decided to marry his child's mother. And yes, do that. And that is a sacrifice. It is a sacrifice because we could very well just be out there and act like dogs. We could lay up with anyone, have babies, and just split off the family, halfway raise the kids. It's literally what makes us human. Is the fact that we love each other. The wherewithal to know that this is probably better, that children will have a better chance of survival if we stay together and raise these children, no matter how many they are. Now, I used to think, like the tri-white lady, which I probably will make another video on something, if I care to. Who was like, you can have a whole bunch of kids, and it's this happy traditional life where because God said to be fruitful and multiply, y'all take that to mean just, have as many babies as your body can manage to push out, and it's okay. I no longer think that way. I used to think that way, Because when you interpret the Bible like literally, like very literal, too literal, you're going to think that that's okay. And I don't think it's okay anymore. Because I now have 3 children of my own. It is not easy raising them. They require a lot. I have all daughters and I have 2 sons. Would I like a son? Probably, but it doesn't mean I'm trying until I get one. It also doesn't. That's my prerogative and what me and my husband can do. However, like if we want to, that's what we can discuss that and deal with that if we want to. But that's between us and the parents that are committed to staying together to raising our children. Now, for Cam Newton and what's his name, Nick Cannon, they are actively. Oh, I hate these single shoulders, but afterwards, try to get where they are. I'm cutting out afterwards. But yeah, like for these 2 men, these 2 very wealthy, successful men in their own right, they are doing something that is, it's the opposite of what God intended. Because when God said to be fruitful and multiply, He was talking about a couple. He was talking to Adam and he was talking to Adam and Eve, even the animals, right? For them to be fruitful and multiply on the earth was in some way for our benefit. And I think because when sin entered the world and all of that stuff, I think things got so weird that the animals, even they are going against what is probably their nature, which is also to pair up and stay together, because there are animals who do that. But they are not very large in number, at least not anymore, right? But we're not sure what exactly went on in the world when sin entered and everybody just lost their mind, right? We all just totally lost the plot. But my point is that one of the points I wanted to make also is that Cam Newton and Nick Cannon are also, they are familiar with the Black church, right? They're familiar with Christian church. Forget the Black church. They're familiar with Christianity to some degree, right? Cam Newton's father is a pastor. Nick Cannon has some sort of relationship, I can't remember what it is exactly, with, I think Nick Cannon's father is a pastor too. I think these are PKs. Who child, the PKs, y'all are embarrassing your parents, but here's what I'm going to say about that, because this is the point I really wanted to make this entire time. Pay attention to this one. Yeah, forget my hair is crazy, but y'all know what it is. I'm a natural hair girl. Y'all know what it is, right? But this is the point I really wanted to make when it comes to the PKs, right? The pastors. Y'all, a lot of pastors' children have trauma from being pastors' children, literally from the profession of their parents, because their parents, I think, gave them a bad example of Christianity, because I think they did it wrong. A lot of pastors took their responsibility of feeding the flock a little bit too, I don't want to say too seriously, I want to say that they took it too far. That's what I want to say. I think they took it too far. Because the Bible doesn't tell the pastors to sacrifice their families, right, at the altar of feeding the flock. All He said was feed them. He didn't say that you can't spend time with your children. Didn't say that you have to give the congregation all of yourself. Didn't say that you cannot that you should spend so much time with me that you don't have time for your own family, or not even with God, but with the people of God, that you don't have time for your own families. This is how a lot of pastors get tied up in scandals and schemes, because they're getting it wrong. This is my opinion on that. And I think there's enough scriptures and stuff like that if you read the Bible properly, and if you have a good pastor teaching you these stuff. Because churches are really and truly have, especially mega churches and stuff like that, these things have gotten way out of hand. And even small churches, there's pastors who they're so focused on, honestly, this is going to be an unpopular opinion on that. I think a lot of them have gotten too comfortable, being able to live off of what the flock brings in, right? That they have forgotten that they should work themselves, so that they don't have to depend on the flock, right? So they don't have to make themselves overextend themselves to the flock in order to make um, in order to make money, right? And therefore um, end up neglecting their family. Yep, I think that's part of the things that happen. So a lot of these children get neglected as kids. A lot of wives get neglected, pastors' wives, right? A lot of for the ones that have female pastors and stuff like that, where the woman has gotten the calling. I have some interesting views on that, so but I'm not going to share them right now. But where the woman has gotten the calling, have neglected their husbands, neglected their children. Um, in the Caribbean, being a pastor, being a religious leader is definitely a business. It's definitely a business, a lucrative one at that. People are looking for healings and miracles all over the place instead of looking to where they really should be looking to. They're looking at pastors. And so they're able to make money. They're able to profit. Some of these concerts, some of these prophetic concerts, not even like a regular musical concert where you could pay where you absolutely should pay the artist for their time and their artistry, right? Singing you all this beautiful gospel music, praise to. But like prophetic conferences, like, what is even in that? It's basically for somebody to come and soothsay their way into your wallet and take all your money. And a lot of these PKs have gone through things like that um, where they've watched their parents be one thing outward and something else inside, where they've watched their parents not even be there for them, where they've watched their parents lie on the pulpit, where they've watched their families in need and not be able to have their parents or not be able to have, help of even the congregation because parents won't reach out because, it's embarrassing for them to show that, that they're just people and they have needs too. Pastors, these men end up in these situations with other women sometimes, which is an embarrassment to their wife and their families because and their children because they're spending too much time at the office and not enough time at home or at a job. But that's a different topic for a different day. But I think that Cam Newton and Nick Cannon, I think these men are hurt by the things that they've seen their fathers do or not be able to do. And I think it has caused some severe dysfunction. I think some of the stories that they read from the Bible, it resonates with them, but I think it resonates with them for the wrong reasons. Like, for example, a lot of men will look to King David and say, "Oh, it's not natural for men to be monogamous because King David, who was loved by God, was not monogamous." God allowed a lot of things and allows a lot of things to this day. He does not agree with it. Just like you allow your children sometimes to watch a little bit of extra TV, or you allow your children to have a piece of candy, a little extra piece of candy, or you allow them to have a free for all at a birthday. When I say a free for all, meaning like, if you have a kid, if you have children, and you have strict your home restrictions when it comes to their diet and stuff like that, or their snack intake, right, at your house is a certain way, right? And when you send them to a birthday party, you allow them to have a little bit more than you would allow them to have otherwise, because it's like, okay, it's one birthday. This doesn't happen every year. It's your cousin's birthday. It's gonna, I mean, not every year. It happens every once a year. It doesn't happen all the time. You're going right back to your routine the next day. You know what I mean? So, and you just allow them to have a good time. It's the same thing. It's similar. It's similar. But God gives us rules that we should follow anyway, right? Regardless of what he allows because he gave us free will and we need to make the choices. Just like you also expect your children when you send them to places and you tell them you have a dairy allergy, you cannot have ice cream, especially your older children. And you tell the aunties and you tell the uncles and you tell, right? Because what if you can't make it there yourself? Or sometimes you're there. But kids are kids and they do try to sneak things off or whatever the case may be. And you tell your child before you get to the party, you cannot have ice cream. Don't ask me for any ice cream when ice cream is passing out because it has dairy in it and you have a dairy allergy and you can't have it. And then that child sneaks off some. But you love your child anyway and you forgive your child and you help your child through their tough times. God allows us to go through our tough times. And then the next time you go to a party, you're kind of like, and especially when if you get sick, you're like, okay, mommy, the last time I didn't listen to mom, right? I got sick and this wasn't a good time. But this time, I'm not trying to get this part straight, guys. I'm just trying to get sections, right? Small sections, just like a certain size section, right? Just to get the gist. manageable. Yeah, so just like, yeah, it's just like that. Like, you know now that next time that I go out, I probably should not eat the dairy, eat the ice cream. So I'm not going to. And you have a choice to make. And then there's the kids that are really stubborn, and you just got to tell, like, auntie or the uncle, like, don't give it to them because they're going to come as if they don't know they have an allergy. And you're going to have to, you're going to just have to deny them. And then sometimes you just have to let that kid fall on their sword and be like, see, you're sick again because I told you not to have the dairy, the ice cream, or I'm not going to let you go to another party, or whatever the consequences is. My point is, oh, sorry for chicken. My point is, the main point of this whole situation is, and I've probably rambled on way too long about it, is that there's things that God allows because He loves us and because He gave us free will that people take advantage of, or people are not, they don't understand what that story was supposed to say. David's situation, what ended badly? His love for women, his desire for multiple women, ended badly. It did not end well. His house was fraught with problems. One of his sons, by one of these various women, tried to kill him because they just weren't getting along. And then there was a situation where he had so many different households, so many children from so many different households, that one of his sons assaulted, right? SA'd, right? One of his daughters. Siblings were assaulting each other and then there was another one that tried to kill. They were trying to kill each other. One of them tried to kill Solomon. They made a plan to kill Solomon because Solomon was promised the throne, and that one was like, "But I'm firstborn. I should get it." Right? And so it's like they were fighting. His children, his household had no peace. His household had no peace. This is a man who, though he was a man after God's own heart, God loved him, right? Because of how he loved God and how he would always try to own up to his mess when he was caught, or sometimes when he caught himself. He would like, "Oh God, help me." Right? He would cry out to God for his every situation. It did not make this man perfect in any way. This man was extremely flawed, but he recognized his flaws. And so he tried, but he failed. He continuously failed. He tried a lot, but he also failed a lot. And that's the kind of, and the thing is, our children do the same thing, and so we love them. And that's how God's love is, right? I have another topic to talk about Abba and Preach and that whole, like, because they made a video talking about, if God is a certain way, then they don't want to fight for that. But let him go to hell then. And I and Preach, that, yes, definitely going to talk about that some other time. But yeah, but these men failed. Solomon failed. Solomon followed his daddy's footsteps, unfortunately, when it comes to the womanizing thing, and he failed also. They started off loving God, but they also failed. And God still allowed them to have some dignity in their deaths. He still gave them what was promised to them, and he's still going to give them what is promised to them in terms of protections and stuff like that. And I'm not talking about the whole Israel thingy. That's a read the Bible for Christian, I ain't getting into the Palestinian thing because I don't think God loves everybody, and justice will be served the way it needs to be served when that time comes. And we don't know what that's going to look like because a lot of the things we think we hear from the Bible, we know a lot of it is wrong. We are wrong about a lot. Our parents did us dirty when it comes to, because their understanding also was not all the way there. And so we have a lot of Nick Cannons, Cam Newtons, a whole bunch of people running around that have no understanding of religion. Like that. Yeah, no understanding of the religion that they're in or religion in general. And so they just grow up with these really skewed, unfortunate takes on religion. And it's really sad. Yeah, because even though Dr. Cheyenne gathered this man, it reminds me of how in Judges, this is getting really cheap, but I'm just going to talk about it. It reminds me of how in Judges, when God basically told, God never intended for Israel to have it, never intended for anyone rulers, right? But other countries were doing it, other cultures were, and so they were like, hey, let's do it too, right? And he told them what would happen to them. That was in Kings. Before Kings, they had judges. It's pretty much the same thing. Each judge got worse and worse and worse. But they wanted human leaders that they could talk to whenever they wanted. And so God kept giving them leaders to show them that these people that you are depending on are going to fail you consistently. They're going to be just as bad as their neighboring kings and queens. It's going to be bad. But the Israelites were like, yeah, but that's what we want because everybody else seems to be doing well. While like that, they had no idea what was going on in these people's backyards, but whatever. But yeah, so he gave them judge after judge after judge, and they would do kind of okay, and then they would fail somewhere along the line. One guy lost his daughter, because he said something really crazy that he shouldn't have said. He said that he would sacrifice the first thing out of his door, and he did, which was wild. And because of what he said, he made an oath to God, and he had to uphold that. You don't make oaths. This is why you don't make oaths to anyone, because there's universal consequences to that stuff. I don't believe in the whole, the universe is new. But the thing is, God made the universe, and so there's things that are written into it that are going to manifest regardless of if you what you believe. That's just what I say. And whilst what was it? Oh, so the thing with Deborah is that one of the judges, Deborah, right? She was a female judge, right? She was one of the only female judges. Basically, it's like all the men were basically failing. So we got this one female judge, she was like a prophetess or whatever. And she was a prophetess. And basically she ended up telling this guy who was not great. He was one of the leaders, but he wasn't a judge. He wasn't a good dude. But he was just what they had. He was a champion that Israel had at the time. And she had to tell him that, look, this victory will not come via your hands. It will come at the hands of a woman, and yada, yada, yada. And why I bring up Deborah is because this lady Cheyenne, right? She's not a Deborah. I'm just saying that she's like a Deborah. Just saying that God will use anyone, and there's a lot of women that unfortunately have been giving, because of the failures of men over the years, God is going to use who he needs to use to get the message across. And to me, Cheyenne is that woman at the moment that he's using to get this message across that y'all are doing it wrong. The daddies have failed. The daddies of these PKs have failed them because there's something that they definitely check it outside. Yeah, so the dads have definitely failed. A lot of the men have failed over the years of centuries, actually. But that's everyone. Everyone fails, right? But with something. But the way how men have dropped the ball, religious men especially, the way they've dropped the ball, it's really sad. It's really, really, really sad. The way they've done that. And I just wanted to, that's just my 2 cents for now on that. I could talk longer. I probably, because I want to make more content, I have so much to talk about, but I don't want to make my videos too long, especially if the quality isn't great. I'll listen to it, so let me see how that goes. I took out my hair before the piece there. You know what? I'm gonna just keep it going. Because I'm here, I'm gonna be here for a while, doing my hair for a while longer, and I'm just gonna go until my hair's finished. That's what I'm doing. That's how I'm gonna do this. Yeah, so that's my take on family and Nick Cannon, right? Their fathers did them dirty. They need to, but however, their parents are also, I do want to say this, they're not responsible for their actions now as well. Now they need to heal and do the work just like Cheyenne had to do on herself, where she understands that there's going to be some caveats to when she's ready to get married because of the standards that she has for herself, because of the desires she has for herself, which I absolutely believe she can have that woman's teeth. But yeah, she could actually have, but she is aware of what she's going to have to deal with, right? Hence why, Cam Newton tried to make her feel away. I think that's what he tried to do. He tried to catch her, um, by talking about, her age and what she won't, basically that she won't, compromise on her decision to make, to marry someone or to be with someone that has kids. She does not want to be with someone that already has kids, right? And that means that she might have to be with somebody younger because she's in her 40s. It was good for somebody in her 40s. But yeah, she's willing to deal with that so that she can not have that, or and what that would require of her, right? It's going to require some emotional labor in terms of patience, as she was saying, and probably a little bit more other things too, like maturity will definitely probably test her, um, and like where they're at and stuff like that. But she knows. The point of the matter is, she knows that. She knows she's gonna have to deal with those things. If she's with a man that's older that doesn't have children, right? There's probably gonna be some issues there as well. And it's unlikely. Who is that? Well, it's probably unlikely that she would even get that, right? But she's fully aware and she's okay. She is okay. And but where she is comfortable because she's done the work to evaluate herself, assess her needs, and assess who she is and what values she wants to place on certain things in her life and desires she has for herself. Cam Newton and Nick Cannon, they're lost still. They're totally lost. So they tried to make digs at her for her age and stuff like that, and like let her know that her desires are basically unattainable, which is not true at all. It is not true at all. Everyone's valuable, and a woman is more than a reproductive organ. This is why, and I want to talk about like this blind thing next, which is why Demi, being in her 30s, beautiful girl, beautiful woman, in her 30s with endometriosis feels so, um, like trapped almost, or at least felt it, at one point, because she feels like her body's betraying her because that's what it's supposed to do. Your body's supposed to do nothing but allow you to work and have fun and enjoy life and serve the Lord. It ain't supposed to do nothing else. It don't need to do nothing else. It don't need to do nothing else. I don't know why people even associate like having children and super fertile with like Christianity and stuff. It ain't that much to. And I can't say just with Christianity, but a lot of Christians think that way. But and marriage and stuff like that, a lot of religions the same. Islam definitely does it. They tend to make women feel like their value is reproduction or reproductive systems, and they put almost no value on us otherwise, depending on which religion, which Islamic you're associated with. Because some are a little more local than others. But yeah, it's all of that is ridiculous. We don't have to do nothing. Our value is not in our ability to. Our value is not in our ability to be beautiful. Thank God I'm coming to that realization because recently I've been thinking about if I should ever get, which is scary because the Christians who know um, would agree that sometimes you say something, you put something out there to the universe and we don't fix it up. It's, we know God hears everything, but we also know that the devil can post some stuff too, him and his minions. They be picking up whatever, right? Because they post it everywhere. And, depending on what you say, could actually create an issue for yourself, you know? And so I've been thinking, I'm going to just say it. I've been thinking about, like, should I ever be able to reach a level of success in life that, and I'm talking about financial success, not in the other ways that, because I think success is more than just financial, right, and material. But success is really and truly what we determine is. But I was going to say that I wanted to basically, if I ever get successful, that I'm going to continue doing surgery, right? There's a couple things I want to fix. I would definitely try to. I'm trying to currently try to. I am on a weight loss journey. I'm trying to develop some consistency with my exercise routine, and so yeah, if I ever, so even if I lose the weight, there's some things that I've had 3 kids, so I'm definitely gonna need like a big kind of thing, just for my like stomach and yeah, probably stomach sides and like maybe get a new job or something like that. But yeah, this is just a regular clear bottle. Just put a little bit of water and a little bit of like light hair lotion in it to just soften up the hair. So it's been tangled. But yeah, like I was thinking, when I lose the weight, if there's any loose skin, which it probably might be, because I have PCOS and I've been overweight for years of my life, and I've been on and off a weight loss journey, and I've gained and lost weight a lot, right? I've never lost the weight that I've wanted to lose. Really, I've never been thin. There's times when I look back now when I thought I was huge when I was young, I wasn't, but I never saw it that way. So I had a bit of what I would consider like undiagnosed body dysmorphia because I always saw myself really huge, and I wasn't always huge. I was just kind of like I was always kind of top heavy. Like I have broad shoulders and a large chest, and slim on the bottom. I've got PCOS body. I've got that PCOS body, and I'm not a fan of it, to be honest. It's y'all who have it know, and I should probably make a separate video on that. But yeah, I'm thinking like I should ever get a certain amount of success in life, I might consider for getting some things done, some facial things, some cosmetic things, um you know some body augmentations. Not nothing too crazy. I'm not. It would just literally be probably like lipo and a reduction, things like that. Mostly a reduction, and maybe get a little with my face. I don't even know what I can do because I have like some extra symmetry stuff going on with my face that I would like to fix, but that could probably be fixed with something else with weight loss. It could probably also be sorted out with the makeup routine, some stuff, right? No, it's not too much to do. But yeah, thinking about things like that. And honestly, I'm getting to a place where that's going to depend on what I'm able to achieve naturally first, and understanding that my value is not on those things because I'm already the thing that a lot of women tend to do some of the stuff for. I kind of already have. Like, I don't want an Instagram following or anything like that. I don't want to get Instagram baddie. I don't want fashion sponsorships. I don't want to make money off of my looks, off of my, like that's not my thing. So I may not bother to ever get surgery. At the end of the day, that is up to me. And but it's not going to be. It's going to be for me. If I do anything, it's going to be truly for me, and not for all the typical reasons it tends to be for. And I still have to come to grips with like something that Adam Preach always talk about when they hear me talking about or see women that have a lot of procedures done. Is what are your kids gonna think? And I know that my children look like their father, obviously, which is a good thing. They're beautiful. They're beautiful girls. Right? Really beautiful. And I get none of them look like me. And when I say look like me, like complexion wise, they didn't even get that, which is fine. They're absolutely stunning. The chocolate, they're very shades of brown. And this is, she reminds me of, she's like a doll to me. Skin is really sexy, dark. perfection. She's yeah, I have a daughters, and I'm grateful for that. And half of my genetics, like, the genetics bag, because I did not win any of the genetics lottery in my family. None. Like I got none of it. To me, I got none of the good stuff. I got none of the good stuff, and then I got PCOS on top of it. So yeah, I got none of the good stuff. But nevertheless, I mean, I like my hair, you know, but I've gotten to like it. I didn't always like it. I've gotten to like it, and it's not because it's like 4C or anything like that. Because it's not even that. It's just that I'm just getting used to myself, right? And as I learned to, to whatever that reason is, I've probably already halfway fulfilled it, right? Because my dad is beautiful, and they have half of my DNA, of their father's DNA. Their dad loves me, and I'm grateful for that. I'm so grateful for that. Because he lets me know, especially when I talk about surgery and stuff like that, he lets me know. You don't need none of that, and I'm so glad for a well-adjusted, God-fearing, loving, that's just there for me and for my daughter. You know, lets me know that just love yourself, give yourself. I love you. It ain't that deep, you know. It's grateful for that. And I wish maybe if the women that Nick Cannon had in their life, they had someone like that and a father like that, even a man like that to talk like that. You know, they may not have ended up in situations where they have also actively participated in creating these broken homes, where all these babies are going to later on question what their parents were thinking because they are now contributing to the very things that they these children they don't know they can't tell what kind of um, outcome, right, is going to like mental, emotional, right, uh, takeaways these kids are going to have and the lifestyle that they were given. Tell me when you talk about oh he's doing the best with the situation, sir. Like ain't nobody give you nothing. You went out and looked for that. Nobody gave you that. Nobody rested or put all those kids in your lap. Nobody told you to have kids already. Nothing is wrong with that. You chose to grow up every good thing that is beautiful thing that you did, sir. Hats off to you with that, but you should have married that woman if you loved that woman so much that you were willing to adopt her children as well. You should have married that woman. Nothing is wrong with that. I have a stepdad. Grateful for the things that he did for me. Um, a lot of kids are appreciative of their step parents because they stepped in where their parents, where their biological parents could not for whatever reason, and that's a good thing. But you should have married that woman if you loved her that much to adopt her children and have her children be a part of your children and her children most likely look up to you as their father. But you are still damaging these families because these kids are going to grow up with like some odd thoughts about marriage and family. They're going to be resentful of certain things, even if they live with you, because don't nobody know what's really going on in your house, right? We don't know if they could live with you, how much time you spend with them. You definitely are not doing some of the harder things because you have these women you could probably afford to get their help, their nannies, pay their cousins and aunties and stuff like that to help them with children so they can still be kind of glamorous and stuff, right? And live these glamorous lives, right? Where these kids definitely are struggling, right? And that's good that you can financially provide for them. You do that part black families don't always have access to. And yes, that's a good but that's not all the children. Children need emotional, spiritual, you know, and psychological stability from both parents. They need that. They need that. They need to see how you love the way that y'all love each other in order for them to know how they should love their future spouses. And even friends and even like their siblings and stuff like that. They need to see how y'all do it. That's why there's so much mess in like royal families and stuff like that because They don't even, because they're trying to be all prim and proper and stuff like that. They don't see their parents together. They don't sleep in the same room. We watch shows like Bridgerton, where it's like, there's one room for the husband and another. The wife sleeps in a different bedroom, and they just kind of cross paths from time to time. Like that first season of Bridgerton was wild, and even when that little side plot family, little black family, in season 3, I think it was, where the son, I think it was season, I don't remember season, but because Bridgerton is all, I watched all of them together. Side note, and they're just all jumbled up for me. They just literally, like, I watch them back to back, so it's like the episodes are really short. So I say short, the seasons are short, the episodes are long, but it's not a lot of episodes per season. So I was able to watch them, pretty much binge watch them together. And yeah, but this little side family, basically where they were kind of like pointing out, some little things that they would have done back in the day, which is like have separate bedrooms and stuff like that. It's like, no, like, and my husband was like, no, we're sleeping together. Like, we're not doing that. Because most likely their children are going to be better adjusted than the children in the wealthier families, where in the wealthier households, where they see the parents are separated and they don't know what's going on, where each of the, I'm glad, one of the irksome things about Bridgerton, I've probably talked about that at some other time. There's so many irksome things about that show, like that whole thing with, like, the mothers didn't teach the daughters anything about their bodies or about marriage and what goes on, the goings on of marriage until after these girls got married. Crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. I thought that was absolutely insane. No, ain't no way. Ain't no way. And they did the last two girls dirty. I think Daphne got the best edit, and yeah. But I'm gonna talk about that. So, but yeah, basically this whole video, I talked about Cam Newton and Nick Cannon, and that's okay. That is okay, because I had a lot of thoughts on them. Like I said, main takeaways. I think their parents did them dirty. One of our parents did us dirty when it comes to, because I'm not a PK, but I do have a religious parent, at least one. Well, I have two. One is Catholic, one is Pentecostal. They're both, I love their parents. That's the most important thing to take away here. I love them. But yeah, they got a few things not quite right. They're still getting some stuff quite wrong in their big ripe old age. But I love them, and I know that God's grace is upon them, and He's gonna love them. Something's gonna work out where they're gonna, because what's important to me is that I pray for them so that their souls, that we all meet together. That's the hope. That's the hope. We all, we live our lives, and I could say that, we did well, we did them proud. Ooh, this is beautiful. Even with my janky ass camera. Look at this. That's stunning. Now, if only the humidity in this country wouldn't do me dirty, that would have been, my brush fell. This would be good. But it was really would not last. So I have to twist it up. So the most I could hope for is a cute twist out that pops. But notice I ain't hurting nothing. But it's for the front. I do about hair like this. I'm gonna go into my dryer because the sun is gonna bake it when I go outside. The sun is gonna bake this. The heat is gonna bake this. The Caribbean people, if y'all know, our hair is gonna be dry in no time. But when it comes to hairstyles and stuff like that, they don't. Yeah. Oh, these people use these for clothes will they don't stay unless you have a certain projection naturally. They don't stay. But yeah. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Newton and this kind of stuff. I think their parents did them dirty. That Cheyenne is doing his work and getting it together, whether she believes in the Lord or not, because I don't know that lady. And I hope they find Jesus for real, for real. I really hope that for them. I really hope that for Nick Cannon. and they come back to their, their roots, their faith, the faith of their fathers, just their fathers may have made mistakes, because none of us are perfect as they were ready for their son to do better, to not do what they're doing, but as parents, all we could do when our children are love them and pray for them, their situations, and let them, kind of let them fall and stumble until they get it, and if they get it, they get it. We hope that they do. I hope that they do. I'm sure their parents are, their dads are praying for them, hoping that it's for them that they learn. I hope those kids turn out well, because there's a lot of children that have odds that are really crazy and manage to do well, even with their scars and all. And yeah, I really hope that they do well. But yeah, that's my take on that. As you can see, I've mentioned a bunch of other stuff in this particular video, and it's because I have a lot of opinions because I've like, imagine having years of content ideas in your head, like years of things, and literally the time you start is like you're just everywhere. But I'm gonna finish the rest of my hair off camera, and yeah, welcome. This is my debut. Well, technically, whatever. But yeah, guys, welcome to my channel. I hope this reaches someone. I hope that I grow from this, and yeah, I hope I find my tribe. Bye.